Anunnaki, Egypt, and the apocalypse, those who created us are returning. A forbidden theory about the true history of humanity. For thousands of years, humanity has wondered who we really are. Are we the result of natural evolution, or are we the creation of beings from the stars, gods who descended to earth and shaped us in their image and likeness? Official history tells us that great civilizations emerged gradually, but there is disturbing evidence that suggests otherwise, a mysterious influence coming from outside our world. All the great cultures of the past speak of beings who descended from the heavens. The Sumerians called them Anunnaki. The Egyptians knew them as Neteru, and the Bible describes them as Elohim. But who were these beings really? And more importantly, why does official history refuse to consider the evidence of their presence? The gods of Egypt, the hidden secrets of the pharaohs. Ancient Egypt remains one of the most mysterious civilizations on the planet. At a time when other cultures were just discovering agriculture, the Egyptians built pyramids perfectly aligned with the stars, created precise astronomical calendars, and erected temples that defied the technological logic of their time. But where did they get this knowledge? There are theories that suggest that the pharaohs were not simple rulers, but genetic hybrids, descendants of the gods, possessors of a superior genetic heritage. Ancient tablets clearly state that the Egyptian gods descended from the heavens and ruled humanity. But these texts are viewed as mere myths. The pyramids of Egypt are strikingly similar to those of South America and Asia. How is it possible that civilizations separated by thousands of kilometers had the same architecture and advanced knowledge of astronomy? Something is escaping us. Or, rather, something is hidden from us. Ancient forbidden technologies, what did the creator gods leave us? Throughout history, artifacts have been discovered that simply shouldn't exist. Objects that suggest a level of technology that was impossible for their time. The Antikythera mechanism, an astronomical calculator over 2,000 years old. The Baghdad battery, proof that the ancients knew about electricity. Egyptian hieroglyphs showing structures that resemble spaceships. The pyramids of Giza are not just simple tombs. Some researchers believe that they were energy generators, structures that operated on the basis of an advanced system of electromagnetism. But if these technologies were transmitted by the gods, then where did they disappear to? Secret societies and the continuation of the Anunnaki plan. The evidence is hidden not only in ancient texts, but also in the symbols of the modern world. Why do we see the all-seeing eye, pyramids, and divine serpentines everywhere? Why do the world's great ruling families insist on preserving a pure bloodline? What are they trying to protect? Many believe that the world's elites are preserving the legacy of the pharaohs and that these royal families are nothing more than descendants of the first Anunnaki kings. Societies like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and Skull and Bones are tied to these ancient rituals, and symbols of ancient Egypt appear everywhere, from government seals to modern banknotes. But why? What do the elites know, and why are they hiding the truth? The apocalypse, the Vatican, and the return of the masters. Biblical prophecies and Egyptian texts speak of an end of the age. Not the end of the world, but a moment of total change. Is the apocalypse just a symbolic event, or is it a real warning about the return of the creator gods? In recent years, governments around the world have begun to acknowledge the presence of UFOs, and the Vatican and NASA seem more interested than ever in space exploration. Why now? What is in store? According to some theories, the planet Nibiru, associated with the Anunnaki, may be approaching Earth again. If the gods have withdrawn, is it possible that they will return? And if they do, how will they view modern-day humanity? What next? The evidence is everywhere. Secrets are hidden in the ruins of temples, in the symbols of the modern world, and even in our DNA. Official history tells us only part of the truth, but humanity's past is much more complex and mysterious than we imagine. What if our creators never left? What if we are just one step away from facing the true history of the human race? Are we ready for the answers that lie ahead? This is just the beginning of an investigation that will shake up reality as we know it. Only one question remains: will we discover the truth in time, or will we become slaves to a new era? A civilization built by gods from the sky? Ancient Egypt, a civilization that emerged from nothing, without a clear gradual evolution, without signs of slow development, as we see in other ancient cultures. How did the Egyptians come to build the most impressive structures in the world, at a time when most of humanity still lived in primitive tribes? The pyramids of Giza, structures that have defied time, remain a mystery even to modern engineers. Stone blocks weighing tens of tons, cut and placed with impossible precision, perfectly aligned with the constellations. A secret that seems to have been left behind by an unknown force. But who really built them? The Egyptian people, or a superior civilization, one that possessed a knowledge lost today? Egyptian sacred texts speak of Zep-Tepi, the First Age, a time when the gods ruled the earth and brought knowledge to humanity. Ra, Osiris, Thoth, Anubis, were these real gods, beings of flesh and blood who ruled Egypt? Or maybe, were they Anunnaki, coming from the stars? Pharaohs, heirs of the gods. Why did the pharaohs claim to be descendants of the gods? What did divine blood mean to the Egyptians? In ancient Egypt, rulers were not only political leaders, but also intermediaries between people and gods. Their genealogy was strictly controlled, kept pure, as if a special biological heritage had to be protected. Were the pharaohs the descendants of a genetic experiment carried out by the Anunnaki? Some mummies discovered appear to have unusual features, elongated skulls, abnormal bone structures, and even traces of a mysterious genetic composition. What were the Egyptians trying to preserve in their bloodline? In Egyptian texts, Osiris is described as a king who came from the heavens and ruled over Egypt. He was cut into pieces and brought back to life by Isis. What if this story is not just a myth, but a coded account of advanced genetic knowledge? Something that today's humanity is only now beginning to understand? Egyptian technology, magic, or forbidden science? How did the Egyptians manage to transport and lift huge blocks of stone without modern technology? Why do their hieroglyphs show objects that resemble flying ships and unknown energy sources? It is said that at the base of the pyramids there are secret chambers, in which are forbidden documents about the origin of humanity. In the 90s, the Egyptian army allegedly blocked access to archaeologists who had discovered a system of tunnels under the Great Pyramid. What was found there? And more importantly, why was it hidden? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, messages from an Anunnaki god? Thoth, the god of wisdom, is one of the most enigmatic figures of Egypt. It is said that he left behind the Emerald Tablets, inscribed with forbidden knowledge that only the initiated can decipher. These texts speak of dimensional portals, of travel between worlds, and of how the human soul can transcend physical reality. But who was Thoth really? Was he just a god of Egyptian mythology, or a member of an ancient civilization that transmitted intergalactic knowledge to humanity? Pyramids, interdimensional gates? Some theories claim that the pyramids were more than tombs, they were energy portals, used to communicate with other worlds. Those who built these structures knew how to use the power of the earth, aligning the pyramids with the planetary geomagnetic grids. But who taught the Egyptians to do this? The pyramids of Egypt are connected by an invisible line to other megalithic structures around the world: Machu Picchu, Teotihuacan, Baalbek, Göbekli Tepe. Was this a network built by the gods to maintain contact between the worlds? Ancient Egypt is not just a story about pharaohs and pyramids. It is a mysterious legacy that seems to have connections with beings who came from the heavens. The gods who ruled Egypt could be the same Anunnaki who ruled Sumer. And the pyramids could be the key to a forbidden truth. But the question remains, why is this truth hidden from us? What if the Egyptians knew that their gods would return? What if the great elites of the modern world are keeping this secret and preparing for the day when those who created us will return? Is this just the beginning? Pharaohs, heirs of the gods. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt were not only rulers, but also intermediaries between people and gods. They did not proclaim themselves kings of the people, but gods incarnate on earth. bearers of a divine heritage, preserved through sacred blood, protected and isolated from the rest of humanity. But what did this divine blood really mean? The story is more complex than a simple royal tradition. Recent studies of some mummies have shown genetic anomalies that are difficult to explain. Some remains seem to have elongated skulls, unusual physical features, bone structures different from those of normal people. Perhaps the pharaohs were not just descendants of people, but descendants of real gods who once ruled over the world. The origin of the Anunnaki and the connection with the pharaohs. The Anunnaki, the beings the Sumerians claimed had descended to Earth, had a strict hierarchy. Their leaders, Enki and Enlil, are said to have conducted genetic experiments to create and control the human race. If the pharaohs of Egypt were nothing more than direct descendants of these gods, what could this mean for human history? Osiris is said to have been the first man-god to rule Egypt, and entire dynasties of pharaohs followed him. But the texts say that Osiris was not of this world. He came from the heavens, brought wisdom, and established order. After his death, he was dismembered and resurrected by Isis in a mysterious ritual. What if this ritual was not just a legend, but an advanced genetic technique? What if Osiris was not just a king, but an extraterrestrial entity, an Anunnaki sent to Earth to guide humanity? Pyramids, energy structures of the gods? Why did the pharaohs build colossal pyramids as resting places? Why are these structures perfectly aligned with the stars and the energy flows of the planet? Some researchers believe that the pyramids were more than tombs, they were centers of power, places where the energies of the earth were concentrated and manipulated. Some claim that under the pyramids there are still hidden chambers, full of artifacts that could change history. A secret project of the Egyptian government has banned public access to certain areas of the Giza Plateau in recent years. What was discovered there? And why are these discoveries so well protected? The connection with the Vatican and the world elites. If the pharaohs were descendants of the Anunnaki, then where are their descendants today? Historians have noticed a fascinating thing. Many of the great royal families of the modern world trace their roots to ancient Egypt. The Windsor dynasty, the royal houses of France and Spain, they all have a common point in the Egyptian royal DNA. So, if these ruling families were descendants of the pharaohs, does that mean they are direct descendants of the gods? What if the world's elites know this secret and are protecting it at all costs? Ancient Egypt hides more than we are told. The pharaohs were not just simple kings, but part of a grandiose genetic experiment. The Anunnaki left their mark on history, and their descendants could rule the world even today. If these gods return, what will happen to humanity? The truth is out there, buried in the sands of Egypt, kept in secret temples and hidden from those who do not want humanity to know who we really are. Forbidden ancient technologies, what did the creator gods leave us? Egypt and impossible technology. In the middle of the Egyptian desert, where only the sands silently tell their story, structures rise that defy logic. Pyramids, temples, obelisks, all hide a deeper mystery than we would have thought. How were they built? Why are they aligned with millimeter precision to the stars of Orion? And most importantly, what lies beneath them? Modern archaeologists claim that the Egyptians did not have the technology necessary to erect such structures. However, these colossal monuments are perfectly oriented to the constellations and seem to have been erected with incredibly advanced knowledge. What mysterious force guided the hands of the builders? Pyramids, energy generators? Some theories suggest that the pyramids were not tombs, but energy generators. The Egyptians did not use candles in their temples. Where did the light come from? Do the dendera lamps, carved in Egyptian temples, suggest a lost form of electricity? The Baghdad battery proves that the ancients knew the principles of electricity. If ancient Egypt had such a technology, who gave them this knowledge? Interdimensional portals, connection with another world? Legends speak of secret chambers under the pyramids. The Vatican and world governments have banned access to many of them. It is said that inexplicable artifacts, technologies that do not belong to this earth, have been discovered there. Some claim that these chambers are interdimensional portals, places where the gods traveled between worlds. If the pyramids were not just funerary monuments, but keys to other dimensions, who had access to them? Did the Anunnaki, who built them, know how to use them? Or were these technologies sealed away to prevent humanity from accessing the truth? What is hidden by history? In recent years, declassified documents suggest that world governments are aware of the existence of unusual artifacts discovered in Egypt. What is hidden in the Vatican archives? Why is access to certain parts of the Sphinx forbidden? Are people not ready to know the truth? Ancient Egypt is not just a story of pharaohs and temples. It is a cosmic mystery, a memory of a lost past, in which gods from other worlds walked this earth. But what if these beings never left? What if they are watching from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to return? Are we ready for the truth that is about to be revealed? Secret societies and the continuation of the Anunnaki plan. Who are those who control the world? If the Anunnaki were truly the creators of humanity, what happened after they left? Did they really leave? Or did they leave their descendants to rule the world from the shadows? The Freemasons, the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, all of these organizations are accused of possessing forbidden knowledge, passed down from generation to generation, maintaining control over humanity. But where does this knowledge come from? Why have there always been attempts to suppress the truth about our origins? It is said that manuscripts containing forbidden information about the ancient gods are in the Vatican archives. The Vatican's secret library could hide clear evidence of the connection between the Anunnaki and modern societies. If this knowledge were made public, it could completely change the perception of human history. But who controls this information and why is it being kept hidden? Are the world's elites Anunnaki descendants? What do the kings of Europe, the presidents of the great powers, and the billionaires of the world have in common? Why are these people obsessed with blue blood, with preserving genetic purity? Are there direct descendants of the ancient gods among the elite? Are the people who rule the world today not fully human? Secret societies are not just a myth. They keep ancient secrets and manipulate the course of history to protect this hidden truth. Are they preparing for the return of the gods? The evidence of the involvement of secret societies in the control of humanity is too much to ignore. The question is not whether these organizations exist, but what purpose do they pursue? Are they just tools of the old gods, keepers of an ancient order, or are they preparing the world for something to come? If the world elites are waiting for the return of the Anunnaki, what will this mean for humanity? Will we be freed or reduced to the status of slaves of the gods again? The answers may be right before our eyes, hidden in the symbols of the modern world. The Apocalypse, the Vatican, and the Return of the Masters. The Apocalypse of John and Egypt. What do the texts say about the end of an era? In the depths of time, the great ancient civilizations have transmitted messages about an inevitable end, a cosmic cycle that will shake the very foundation of our reality. The Apocalypse of John, one of the most controversial and cryptic texts in the New Testament, seems to describe not only a spiritual cataclysm, but also a cosmic collision with terrifying implications. But the Apocalypse of John is not unique. In the heart of ancient Egypt, the hieroglyphs on the walls of the temples of Abydos and Karnak describe a golden age, a time when gods walked among men and ruled the earth. The Egyptian texts mention a devastating event that ended this era and marked the beginning of the reign of humans. A coincidence or a hidden truth? The Dead Sea Scrolls and the Vatican's forbidden books contain similar accounts. They speak of a great global catastrophe, an event that led to the disappearance of advanced civilizations and a reset of humanity. But one essential detail is repeated in all these texts: they will return. UFOs in history, ships of the Anunnaki gods? Beyond religious and mythological accounts, there remains visual and written evidence of unexplained phenomena. In medieval frescoes, on cave paintings in Australia, but also in the chronicles of ancient historians, mentions of chariots of fire, luminous spheres, and beings descended from the sky. The Sumerian tablets of Mesopotamia provide astonishing details about the Anunnaki, the traveling gods who came from the stars and changed the course of humanity. What were these Anunnaki? Divine beings or visitors from another planet? Herodotus, Plutarch, and even Aristotle documented strange appearances in the sky, phenomena that humanity at the time could not understand. One of the most mysterious documents comes from the Vatican, the Codex Vaticanus, which refers to divine visitors and wheels of fire that plowed the skies of ancient Rome. What did the popes know, and why did they hide these truths for centuries? Planet Nibiru, a myth or a real danger? Many of these stories seem to point to a single point of origin, a planet called Nibiru. In Sumerian texts, Nibiru is described as a colossal planet with an elliptical orbit that periodically approaches our solar system. Some theories suggest that each appearance of this planet coincides with great cataclysms on Earth. NASA has repeatedly denied the existence of such a planet, but declassified documents from the Pentagon archives and leaked reports from within the agency suggest that world governments are aware of a possible cosmic threat. If Nibiru exists, and its approach causes magnetic disturbances and devastating earthquakes, then the apocalypse may be more real than we imagine. What are the Vatican, NASA, and the Pentagon hiding about our true history? A central element of this conspiracy is the Vatican, the custodian of forbidden archives, where evidence of our true origins may be hidden. It is said that the popes were warned about the future of humanity, but chose to remain silent. NASA, in turn, has hidden numerous records related to unidentified objects from space, and the Pentagon has refused to clarify the details of certain space missions. In 2023, the Pentagon admitted to possessing fragments of material that does not come from Earth, but no concrete explanation has been offered to the public. Is humanity on the verge of a radical change? All these indications converge towards a turning point. If we are indeed approaching the end of a cosmic cycle, this means that humanity will undergo a dramatic change. The question is, will we find out the truth, or will we once again be victims of manipulation? If the ancient prophecies and texts were right, then we are not only facing a social and economic crisis, but also a total reconfiguration of reality. The world's elites know more than we let on. The Vatican, the Pentagon, and NASA have information about the past and future of humanity, but they choose to keep it hidden. Why? Maybe to avoid chaos, maybe to control the future. But the truth has a strange habit. It always comes to the surface. Are we ready to learn the truth about our origins? Or are we approaching a new age of ignorance? Have the creator gods never left? Are they watching over us from the shadows? Across the globe, strange testimonies, hidden in ancient texts and carved into the walls of forgotten temples, suggest that the beings who shaped humanity never really disappeared. Perhaps they retreated to the depths of the ocean. Perhaps they chose to live among us, hidden within the power structures that dictate the course of history. But in every corner of the world, the evidence persists, waiting to be deciphered by those who dare to look beyond the illusion of imposed reality. In Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki are described as superior beings who came to Earth and changed the genetic makeup of the human race. But what if these entities were never gods in the classical sense? What if they are the remains of an extraterrestrial civilization that has continued its activity, shrouded in shadows and myths? It is said that in the Vatican, in the Forbidden Archives, there are parchments that confirm that these gods are still present, dictating the fate of humanity. Throughout history, many civilizations have claimed that their kings and rulers were chosen or guided by supernatural forces. What if this was not just a myth, but a hidden reality? Perhaps the great world powers are just pawns in a game that has been going on for millennia, and the true masters of the world are entities that only a few have ever seen. Elites keep the truth hidden, but why? In a system where every aspect of reality is controlled, information is the most dangerous weapon. If humanity knew the truth about its origins and who really pulls the strings, what would happen? Throughout history, every major revelation has been suppressed or redirected to avoid chaos. Humanity has been kept in a state of willful ignorance, unable to understand the complexity of reality beyond the imposed veil. The Vatican, NASA, and the Pentagon hold archives that contain crucial information about the true nature of the universe and human civilization. Partially declassified documents suggest that there are things the elites would rather keep secret. But why? Do they fear that the truth will shake religious and political systems? Or are they themselves controlled by something much more powerful, The truth is that all the great powers of the world operate on a simple principle: knowledge is power, and the masses must be kept in the dark. But in the digital age, controlling information is becoming increasingly difficult. Data leaks, shocking revelations, and witnesses come forward to tell what they saw. Yet every attempt to uncover the truth seems to be quickly neutralized. Are we at a decisive moment in history? Do we learn the truth or become slaves to a new secret empire? In every era, humanity has been at a crossroads. Now, we face a critical choice. Do we accept what we are told and remain trapped in a manufactured reality, or do we begin to explore the truth that has been hidden from us for thousands of years? Increasing evidence suggests that the world's great changes are no coincidence. From pandemics to economic collapses, from orchestrated wars to technological advances, everything seems to be part of a greater plan. But who is controlling it? And what is this plan about? If the great elites are working together to keep humanity in a state of submission, then the essential question is, until when? In a world where every move is monitored, every word is recorded, and every thought can be influenced through technology, how long do we have until total control? There is talk of the global reset, the new world order, and artificial intelligence taking over. But what if these things are not just conspiracy theories, but part of a much larger plan, established thousands of years ago by those who created humanity? How long can we ignore the truth? Is the day approaching when we will face our creators?